Hi, Thais, how are you?
How are
Welcome.
you?
I'm going to
Thank
call the
you.
meeting to order. So you can turn on the recording. I'd like to call the meeting of the Norfolk Advisory Committee meeting for Wednesday, September 18th to order. The first order of business is a roll call. I would like to acknowledge that we have a new member attending tonight, Thais Hickman, and I will ask you to are you in attendance?
I am. I'm here.
Great. Mike G,
Here.
Jonathan Hurwitz,
Here.
Ken Fitzgerald,
Here.
Rob Garrity,
Here.
Joyce Terrio,
Here.
Jonathan Hurwitz.
Here again.
Yeah, I clicked left to right and you moved on my thing, so I'm gonna have a problem with my roll call. And Good Lutz is here. I think I got everyone.
David, you forgot me. Melissa's
Melissa Sear.
here.
That this is another reminder of COVID is the bobbing names on the top of your screen. So welcome all. I'm hoping we have a fairly short meeting tonight. I first want to acknowledge we have a new member tonight joining us, Thais Hickman. Thais, I
Welcome.
pronounced your name correctly?
You did. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Welcome. And we have a short meeting tonight and a couple more meetings before leading up to the fall town meeting. And I hope that you can engage with us and ask questions as you need. And if you've got any questions, take them offline to me and we'll take care of that too. Tonight, we're going to go through the warrant as the selectmen looked at it yesterday and last week, I think. And then we'll have a specific conversation about a couple articles that affect the DPW. And with that, I will hand the agenda over to Jonathan, or sorry, Justin. I apologize, guys.
No worries. Good evening, everyone. Good to be with you again. The last meeting that we had, I told you that the warrant was pretty light and there was just a few articles that were sort of up in the air. So essentially from our last meeting, two articles did not make it for this warrant. It was the Old Town Hall. The board wasn't ready to do anything regarding that. We still got some work to do there, so we removed that article. And our favorite, the prudent investor rule article isn't on the warrant this cycle either. The board did have execute the warrant yesterday. There was a joint select board and school committee meeting, and they did put on the Freeman Kenny schematic design article. We have 15 articles at the moment. I forwarded that to Erica in the group. I don't know if you all received it, but David, you want me to just quickly run through them again, or just what do you want me to do? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Am I muted now?
I can hear you now.
That was weird because, all right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you want me to run through?
Yeah, run through them 1 to 15, and then we can go back to the ones that.
Okay. All right. So
on.
the first few are sort of our typical articles. Prior year unpaid bills, we have none at the moment. Our second article is budget transfers. As you guys are aware, that's typically when we make transfers to, and in the fall at least, transfers to the stabilization funds, capital stabilization, transfers to departments, etc. The board did vote to allocate additional Chapter 70 monies that were allocated for schools. So that will be a budget transfer article on there, but we typically work through that as we're leading up to fall town meeting. So we'll talk about that later, Todd and I, as we go through that list. We have capital expenditures from borrowing. I do think we might have one item for fall town meeting regarding that. The town received a FEMA grant of $1 million for a Quint apparatus. And I think we're going to potentially have the opportunity to purchase that apparatus. It's a joint FEMA grant, joint purchase with Rentham. So we may do a $750,000 ban. So I'll have Fire Chief Kinney come and talk to you. I'm working with Todd to fund it, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be borrowing.
Quick question. It's a $750,000 what grant?
We get $1 million grant from FEMA for
Yep.
this apparatus, but it's going to be a joint purchase. So it's looking like this apparatus might be $2.5 million. So essentially $750,000 would come from our town and $750,000 from Rentham.
The question was, what is the apparatus? I missed that
It's
part.
a quint.
What's a quint?
I'd have Chief Kinney explain more things, but it's
Okay.
a multimodal apparatus. It does about 5 different things. It's sort of an apparatus, is a variety of things, and Ken probably can.
I heard Quake, and I was going to say we
Quint.
don't need any Quake equipment, I hope.
It's a, David, it's a ladder truck that also carries water in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ken.
And then Article 4 is our capital expenditures other than borrowing. Our capital process is closing on the 20th. Department heads are submitting their capital requests then. Todd and I will review and start meeting with the team next week. So we should have a pretty quick turnaround on that, maybe 2 weeks.
Great.
The next article is going to be planning board, the light industrial, so Southwood. 6 is the Freeman County schematic design, so that's the school committee and the school building committee. 7 is what we have Blair here for, is the off Miller River land purchase article that we discussed. This is purchasing a potential to purchase some property next to some DPW land there. Here reports, then we have the assessing bylaws change, and then a slew of planning board articles that we talked about last time.
Yep.
The accessory buildings and street acceptances.
Quick question. Do you have any anticipated committee reports yet? I'm just curious.
Fire station building committee will likely say something.
Yep.
The team moved in over the weekend.
Yep.
So they'll probably report on that.
Congratulations to the team.
Almost there. We still got to do demolition in phase 2. So it's
Understood.
progress so far. I think the energy committee will have something because there are a few little energy committee projects that have or energy projects that have been stewing, but I haven't heard from anyone else yet.
Okay, cool. So going back to the articles that I think you covered them, but I would ask any members if they have any questions on any of the ones on Article 1 is unpaid bills. There's nothing.
Yep.
Article 2 is budget transfers, which we don't have a list for yet.
Yep.
Article 3 is the Quint truck or whatever, the Quint vehicle, whatever it is. If anyone has any more questions on that besides what it is, please feel free. Raise your hand. If you put your hand up, I'll see that. Put your hand up through Zoom, I'll see that. I'm still refamiliarizing myself with this. Capital borrowing from our capital expenditures from other borrowing. You said that you're still going through it. Is there a sense of what might be on the list, or is there a sense of how what your budget is for that?
Yeah, good question. So our free cash isn't certified just yet. It's going to be certified pretty quickly. I think I have an idea of what that is, but obviously when we certify free cash, that kind of gives us our playbook, what to operate off.
Okay.
I've been seeing some of the projects that come in. Blair's put in some, stuff, and some of other departments have. It really is, the free cash allocation. There was also requests last night from the school committee to fund ELA curriculum expansion, and they're asking for $100,000. So there's just a variety of things that are stewing out there. So, our approach is to try to be as fiscally conservative as possible, knowing full well too, is our last budget, we utilized so much of one-time revenues that we don't have access to anymore. So I think we're probably going to be even more conservative with capital and transfers with free cash, because I think obviously as we go through this process, we're going to probably have to use some of that free cash to balance the budget, right?
Right.
So I have a sense of what's out there. I don't know just yet what we're gonna do yet until I see what the final figures are and have time to talk with Todd and come up with a strategy for budget and so forth.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions on that before we keep going? Okay, the planning board's number 5, which is the zoning changes for Southwood. We're hearing from them in 2 weeks, folks. We'll talk about the schedule when we're done here, but we'll reaffirm the schedule when we're done here. And then number 6 is the Freeman Centennial schematic request. We're having them in 3 weeks. And we'll talk about that. We'll confirm that. The next one is I think it's the land project that you mentioned, that one of the reasons our friend Blair is here. I'll ask Blair to speak on that, explain what it is. By the way, Justin, before we do that, when can we see language on these?
I sent it to you this morning.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I've been busy at work and I did not get a chance to open it. So, all right. So the actual article language is in that email.
The actual article language is in that email. It's pretty good to go actually, because sometimes we do a little tinkering, but I think it's pretty all set now.
Okay. Thank you. Blair.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me once again. Just give you a high overview of this warrant article and how it came about. About 9 months ago, it was approached by a realtor who is representing the property owner at 53 Mill River Road. This is a parcel of land just over 6 acres that does not meet the town standard to be developed. Essentially, it lacks road frontage on Mill River Road. So being that the town already owns 2 parcels, the water department, to be specific, owns 2 parcels to the north and to the east of this particular parcel. The owner of the estate of the owner wanted to know if the town was interested in purchasing it. Following up with that, I did have an appraisal commissioned, and that has come back, and I did email that to the committee earlier today, as well as a map showing exactly where this particular parcel lays. And also doing my due diligence, I have talked to the town of Franklin Water Department, as they do have currently have 2 water wells in the proximity of this parcel. And, you know, obviously being concerned with the recent EPA guidelines on PFAS, that was a major concern of mine should the town ever decide that they want to install a well in this area. I was concerned with PFAS, and the town of Franklin currently does not have any PFAS issues in the area. So with this parcel of land being so close to the town of Franklin's well, this particular well number 5 in Franklin, is nowhere near drawing the capacity that it could. The soils on this property are in good shape. So it does make sense, I believe, to purchase this property with water department revenues to give us an even larger footprint in that area, considering where it is and the possibility that down the road we may need to develop this as a water source for the town. I think that for the appraised price, I believe that it's at this time it's a good investment for the town.
And the appraised price.
It is a rather lengthy appraisal, somewhere in the neighborhoods of 56 or 57 pages. So there's a lot there to chew on, but certainly open it up to questions if anybody has any.
What's the appraised value? What's the asking?
$135,000, just over 6.06 acres.
And that's that cheap because it's not developable, and
Correct.
it's not. Is it because it's wet? Is it because it's not accessible, or?
I believe it's because it's not accessible. It is for the most part landlocked.
Okay.
The town line is to the west, and the water department owns to the north and east. with a lot that has been built out to the south on Mill River Road.
I'm gonna sneeze, so hold on a second.
Well, David sneezes. I don't know if the committee Blair sent an image. I don't know if you want me to share that screen. I don't know if it was shared with you guys. Would that be helpful or no? Okay.
I think it would be, please.
Yeah. Erica, can you
Sure.
let me share my screen, please? Or if you have it, obviously you can share it, whatever you want to do. Oh, I can share it. So let me. So that's what was sent.
Are you able to zoom in on that at all, Justin?
Yeah.
And even one more if it'll go that far.
I forwarded it to everyone too.
Thank you.
So you can see the vacant property is labeled there with the approximate location of Franklin's Well 5 to the west, excuse me. And then to the north and to the east, the existing town of Norfolk Water Department properties. Then you can see to the south there why there's an issue with road frontage out onto the cul-de-sac for Mill River Road. I think this is a great opportunity for the water department because obviously with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers owns that large parcel to the north. In this day and age, the more buffer zone you can have with regards to wherever your well field is going to be, that's certainly to our advantage, especially with contaminants and whatnot becoming more and more critical every day. I think that for the $135,000, if the town decided to appropriate that money, is what money well spent at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Nope, David.
All right,
Oh, there you go.
I was muted and I couldn't find my own face on my screen to unmute myself. I'll let Jonathan and then Rob ask questions, and I have a question if it doesn't get asked.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. So my question is, you indicated we currently, as a town, own the 2 adjacent properties. Are there any wells in place on those adjacent properties, or those property or parcels just being held for future use as well?
They are also being held for future use. There is right now the town does not have water main access to those parcels, so that would involve some infrastructure, either some kind of cooperative agreement with the town of Franklin and hooking into the north where we currently have a water main, or to come down Main Street. Our closest water main on Main Street is at Park Street, so it would obviously involve a little bit more of a substantial project to get there.
But does that same statement apply for this new parcel, or does that water main access change in any ways with this new parcel?
Water main access doesn't change either way. I believe that at this point it's just an investment for the future.
Okay.
That is clean water there, and there does seem to be an abundance of it at that location. So,
okay, so
really, it's just an investment.
So where I was going with this is, if we have 2 parcels in the same general vicinity where we believe there's access to good water, and this new parcel doesn't necessarily present any benefits from the water main situation, it's going to be the same. What's the upside to buying this parcel as opposed to just leveraging the parcels we already have in the event we need a future well there?
Jonathan, it gives you a more of a buffer zone. It essentially ensures that nobody is going to be able to build or have any sort of impact on that particular area. When it comes to well fields, the Department of Environmental Protection looks at how far away other things are from your well field. And so the buffer zone is important. And with having the Army Corps to the north, you do still have a house to the south. And, if they decided that he wanted to buy that, demolish the house that was there, he could eventually get access if that's what they really wanted to do. But
So-
the buffer zone is an important factor.
Okay, so just to clarify, that parcel you're talking about building, it's not unbuildable. It's currently unbuildable because there's no access from the road. But
Correct.
if the adjacent property owner were to purchase it, then it would become a buildable lot.
Right, you would, because of, you could essentially gain access at that point, as well as if somebody wanted to come through Franklin, if something were to change there. This essentially ensures us that we have a large enough parcel to be able to put a well field there at any time in the future.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Rob, your question?
Oh, I think you're muted, Rob.
Yeah, damn it. Oops, excuse me. How far away is Franklin Well 5 from the town line?
That's a good question. I don't have an exact measurement, Rob. I would say it's probably 500 yards off the top of my head. I could certainly get that for you, but obviously definitely on their side. And you know, the capability for a well field is there, because I did check on the flows. And when I talked to Franklin's water department, I wanted to see what that well was permitted for and then what they were actually drawing from it. And it's at nowhere, it's less than 50% capacity at this point.
Mhm.
Obviously, they have the ability to adjust that as they need to, but at this time, when I talked to them, they were drawing less than 50% of what it's capable. So I don't believe that there's any sort of a supply shortage in that area with what's going on.
Yeah,
So
and the cones of depression won't, you know.
Correct.
Okay.
That was my main fear at the time. That's why I had that discussion with them, was that their close proximity would influence the overall supply in that area.
Mhm.
And, you know, we're looking at this as this could be 20 to 50 years out before anything is done here.
Right.
But at this point, it's, we weren't seeking it, but it's kind of found us. So
Can I ask one more question, Dave?
Sure.
Is well 5 the one that people suspect is drying up Kingsbury?
no, it's well 4,
Okay.
the one to the north.
All righty.
I have a question if no one else does. Okay, but when we purchase it, what happens to it in terms of protections? How does it become wellhead protection property and not get developed or end up on some future warrant for sale?
Well, a couple of things can happen to it. I would prefer that it just remain a general use from the water department and not become conservation land. Only because conservation land puts it in a bucket where it could make things really difficult in the future. Obviously, if it's water department land, it would be hard to foresee a point that we would want to sell it under the basis of why we want to purchase it in the first place. It would seem extremely counterintuitive to anybody in the future to want to do that, especially considering the resource that water is and the difficulty that we're having now with lead and copper, PFAS, lead.
Sure.
Lead issues continue to plague the water system. So it would be difficult to believe that we would ever want to part with it if we made the leap to grab it.
But there's no, I understand the problems of putting a conservation restriction on it, but it's not in a zone 2 where it's not regulated property under DEP water supply regulations. So it is, in fact, I trust you, Blair, but you said that you'd want to keep it available for future uses. I'm just curious what kind of actions the town could take to ensure that it was protected lands.
David, I guess particularly for the selling, because you mentioned, what would prevent the town from selling it. That in the end, town meeting, if the town would have to sign off on it. So that's the ultimate protection, that we wouldn't just acquire and then look to sell it. Town meeting would have that voice.
But Franklin puts in access for some reason and it becomes a very valuable piece of property, and we're running $1 million deficit in 10 years, and sort of that's where I'm sort of heading with this. But all right, something to think about, gentlemen. If there's a way to put something in the article about water conservation restrictions or something, I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along, but I thought I'd throw it out there. So, does anyone else have any questions for Blair on this, or Justin? Okay, great. We'll move on. Blair, while you're here,
Road acceptance,
the road acceptance articles, there's two, right?
Yes.
The Ariana Lane and Tolls End Road, which is a perennial at town meeting.
Toils End.
Toils End Road, which is a perennial at town meeting.
Yes.
So what's going on with Ariana Lane? Where's that, and is it an acceptable road right now?
Yes, area lane has been completed. We've completed our as-built survey. Sidewalks have all been completed, finished paving has all been completed, and everything is to our satisfaction there. Drainage has been looked at, top to bottom, it's all set and good to go. Toils End has been around for quite some time, and at this point we have taken a look at it and believe that at this point we should get it on the books, obviously for Chapter 90 purposes, if nothing else, and move forward with that one. We do have a pretty long list of other roads, but these were the only two that we thought that warranted going after at this point.
Okay, so the question I have about Toils End, this is not that weird little unbuilt part that connects. Where is the piece of Toils End Road that's being accepted here?
So
because there's a weird part that there's like a ghost road.
Yes.
For
So
lack
this
of a
is
better
this is
term.
the actual paved portion of the I mean, Toils End Road is only a couple hundred yards long as it is anyway. And there was some issues in there in the past with drainage, which we have taken a look at and taken care of at this point.
All right.
So yeah, there isn't very much to Toils End, but again, we're trying to get some of these roads that have been kicking around here forever, or that have been walked away from off the book or on our books.
Appreciate it. Has anyone else got any questions on the road acceptance
Yeah,
articles? Go ahead, Mike.
yeah, just could you explain just what you meant by Chapter 90 purposes? I don't know what that means, but
So every year that the Chapter 90 is a fund that the town, Mass Department of Transportation every year gives an allotment to, it's been for about the past 10 years, about $200 million that they divide up between the 351 towns. Oh, there's a really bizarre formula, and if you could tell me what that actual formula is, you would be a genius in your own right, because it seems to be this giant secret, but has to do with the amount of road miles a town has, the amount of businesses that you have, the amount of commuters you have, and so on. So there's a big formula there, but one of the key factors is the amount of actual road miles that you have in your town. So every time we accept a road, that number continues to go up and gives us a larger percentage of the pie.
great. That's great. Thanks. Yep.
Anyone else have any questions on the road acceptance articles? I think as I look at this, that's what we're going to talk about with Justin and Blair, correct? Justin,
Yes.
did I miss anything? No. Okay. All right.
Nope.
Okay. So thank you both, gentlemen.
Okay.
We've got a few administrative things going on here, but if you want to stick around, you're certainly welcome. But if not,
Please let me know if you have any further questions. I'm happy to gather whatever information you need and forward that to you if you come up with something else.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Night.
So the other main thing on our agenda is accept the minutes from the last meeting. I think that Ken forwarded his review of those earlier. That was, yes, that was today. No,
Yeah, I sent them out at probably, I don't know, 4 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, if everyone had a chance to look at them, or if they want to take a look right now, please feel free. But we can have a vote on these and accept them. Ken, did you have any, before I ask for a motion, did you have any particular issues with it, or? Okay.
I'll move to approve minutes.
Need a second?
Second,
Okay, I'll take a roll call vote on this. Joyce Terrio,
yes.
Ken Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Melissa Sear,
Yeah,
Rob Garrity,
Yes.
Jonathan Hurwitz,
Yes.
Thais Hickman. Actually, Thais, you were not at the meeting, so you shouldn't vote, but, sorry.
It's okay, I
Um,
did read them.
Well, thank you for doing that, and you caught up on what we did last time. Have I missed anyone? Mike P.
Yes.
And David Lutz, yes. So minutes are adopted as written. With that, I just want, before we adjourn, I want to make people fully aware of the upcoming schedule. We have a meeting in 2 weeks. That would be October 9th. And wait,
There's one on October
October
2nd.
2nd, sorry. I'm going on vacation next week, so my calendar is like completely blown up. October 2nd, we're expecting to hear from the advisory board, or the planning board. I'm sorry. I've confirmed that. And October 9th, we'll be hearing from the schools and the school building committee on the article relative to the Freeman Kennedy schematic plan. And then we have a meeting on the 16th, which will be mostly to deal with articles that we haven't been able to vote on before then. And that's our agenda. I would propose then that we adjourn this meeting right now, unless anyone has any. Yes, Ken.
I'm away just like you from Saturday to Saturday next week. I have COVID-y stuffy nose stuff going on, so I don't want to go in to town clerk and sign these tomorrow. Is there somebody that can wet ink the minutes?
I'll go by.
Okay, I'll send them to her now. Let her come by. I just want to go in there.
Send them to them and CC me as a reminder.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. All right. I hope you're okay. I believe I'll have to take a roll call on the motion to adjourn, but I can't remember exactly. So I will do that. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Ken Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mike G.
Aye.
Thais Hickman.
Aye.
Melissa Sear.
aye.
Jonathan Hurwitz.
Yes.
Rob Garrity.
Aye.
Joyce Terrio, did I get you already?
No, but I'll say aye.
Okay, I think now I've got everyone. Dave Lutz, aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.